Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm here today to share an experience that I had when I was 14 years old. I've shared it with my sons, some of my family and friends, and then with a few of my patients. It was an amazing experience that I won't ever forget, which kind of fell into this year of 2020. This is a year that we're all not going to forget. We still have COVID. We currently have the worst fires in California history still burning, and not to mention the unrest across the nation and the sadness across the world. These difficult times begins to cause a little bit of loss of hope, loss of faith. I was hoping that sharing my story might help. We don't know the bigger picture. I do know that through my 47 years on this planet, that there were times that seemed so difficult, and how were we going to get to the next step? How is it going to be? It's never going to be okay. But it always is. We just don't know when, and we don't know the bigger picture, but it generally gets better. So we have to have that faith, and that is what helps guide us through those roller coaster rides. So it begins with my father, who was in our lives up until I was 9 years old. We were daddy's little girls, and up on a little pedestal. And when my parents told us that they were going to get a divorce, and he was going to be moving back east where he was from, it was a very memorable day, as we were all waiting for the Greyhound bus to show up at the bus station. He got on and drove away, and felt my heart break into pieces. My sisters and I were sad and couldn't really process or understand it. So fast forwarding up until 14 years old, at that point we weren't really talking to our father anymore, lost touch. And I just was visiting my grandparents in Victorville, California for the weekend, and my grandparents and I were sitting watching television, and I just had this overwhelming feeling of sadness. And it was about my dad, and I felt I'm going to cry, and I don't want to cry in front of my grandparents. So I went into the restroom, locked the door, sat on top of the toilet, put my hands down, and was trying to cry in my hands so that they couldn't hear me, because it was one of those deep ones, one of the deep ones that hurt cry. I was crying, and I said, I just want a hug. I just want a hug. And next thing I know, I felt as if something was just completely surrounding me, and then it was a hug. It just felt like overwhelming warmth, and then I was surrounded and I was being hugged. I felt full warmth. I wasn't scared. I was still like this. And I remember using, like, why I just didn't open both eyes. I guess, who knows. I opened one eye and looking to see if I could see anything, but I couldn't see anyone or any. I couldn't see anything, but I could feel it, and it was ultimate love, warmth, and I wasn't sad anymore. It was like the sadness was just gone. And I said, thank you. And I sat there for a minute going, I didn't know what to say. I stood up, I washed my face off so my grandparents would know. I went back out, and I sat down on the couch with my grandparents again. And my grandpa turns around and says, Chata, what's the matter? Are you okay? I was like, yes, Grandpa. My grandma turns around. So obviously my face was different, my expression. My grandma turns around, are you sure, Mija? Are you sure you're okay? I said, yes, Grandma. And I just sat there trying to process what happened. I don't know what happened. Like I said, it wasn't a bad thing. It was a wonderful thing, but I didn't know how to share what just happened to me when I didn't really process it. So fast forward 4 years, I was attending the class to baptize my son, and they asked, what was your first experience with God? And I shared my story of getting hugged in my grandma's bathroom in Victorville, California. That was the first time I shared it with anyone. And of course, my concern was that they, you know, maybe they would try and be rude with, you know, you grow up, you've been bullied or told that, you know, what, you're lying. And I know what happened. I know what happened, and if you closed your eyes right now and I wrapped my arms around you and gave you a hug, you'd know that you were being hugged. There is no doubt in my mind what happened to me that day, and I am so absolutely grateful, because it's many times during my life going through massive roller coaster rides that I held on to that, believing that there has to be more. There has to be more. Life can't be this unhappy. I can't be this sad. It got me through. I held on to that to get me through the craziness of life. I wanted to share my experience with you today to help anyone that maybe needed a little boost of hope and faith, or to rekindle your own, and to remember how and when you received your first experience that you believe, or being grateful for all the good things that are in your life. It's easy to pick out the bad. I was always asked, why do you always believe in positive thoughts? What is all of that about? Why do you always say that? Because it is very important that we do have those positive thoughts. Those negative thoughts, they hurry up, they make babies in there, and next thing you know, you're flooded. I said I could make myself feel pretty bad about myself in about probably less than a minute. But when you have positive thoughts and you use that, and grateful for the experiences that you did get through, and grateful for the things you do have. Did you have a meal today? Are you able to watch YouTube? This is incredible. GPS is number one, the most incredible. I've gotten lost many times in my lifetime. Wonderful. But do you have water? Are you able to take shots? Do you have clothes? And the answer, each one of us is different. And but if you can take one of those, then that is a positive and grateful attitude. And that will bring you far. That will bring you through these tough times. Being grateful for what you do have. It's easy to go on the negative roller coaster ride. It's very painful, and it's like taking the long bumpy road when all you had to do was take this one. And don't get me wrong, we all got to take our own roads. Free will. I choose to try and spread as much positive energy as I possibly can. Am I guilty of sending some negative ones? Yes, because we are not perfect. As I've told my children, you kind of know when you're too tired. Have you had water? And have you eaten a meal today? Because usually those are when you start to go on to a lower vibration of energy, and then it's kind of, you're not really paying attention to your energy and what you're sending out. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a great day. With my patients and friends, I always say that I would be sending positive thoughts their way. I used to just go like that, as if I was sending them. They started adding psh, psh, psh. So I'm going to send it all to you. I hope you have a great day. Gonna send positive thoughts your way. Bye-bye.